In the misty embrace of Vancouver's evergreen canopy, where the Pacific's chill kisses the shores and the city's pulse hums with a blend of urban edge and natural serenity, the Wolfhard family home has long stood as a bastion of creativity and quiet rebellion. Tucked into the neighborhoods of this coastal gem, perhaps a modest craftsman bungalow with ivy-cloaked walls and a backyard alive with the chatter of songbirds, it's here that Finn Wolfhard, the lanky, wide-eyed star of Stranger Things and beyond, first learned to navigate the labyrinthine worlds of imagination. But Finn's ascent from wide-eyed kid actor to multifaceted auteur didn't sprout in isolation. It was meticulously cultivated by two figures who shunned the glare of fame's footlights. His father, Eric Wolfhard, a tenacious researcher of indigenous rights with a screenwriter's soul, and his mother, Mary Jolivet, a former artist whose nurturing spirit infused their home with the colors of classic rock and cinematic wonder. Together they formed the unseen scaffolding of Finn's empire, a duo whose influence echoes in every chord he strums, every frame he directs, and every wry quip that endears him to legions of fans. Eric Wolfhard, a man whose frame carries the quiet authority of one who's wrestled with history's ghosts, embodies the intellectual fire that courses through his son's veins. Born into a lineage attuned to justice's call, Eric's path diverged from the courtroom's rigid lines to the nuanced battlegrounds of research and advocacy. As co-founder of VLW Research, he delves into the intricate tapestries of Aboriginal land claims, his days consumed by extractive analyses of treaties, litigation-driven inquiries into territorial boundaries, and calculations of compensation for lands wrenched from indigenous hands across Canada and Africa. His LinkedIn profile, a sparse digital ledger, belies the depth of his work, poring over archival maps under desk lamps that flicker like fireflies, interviewing elders whose voices carry centuries of resilience, crafting reports that arm legal warriors in the fight for sovereignty. It's grueling, unglamorous labor, endless footnotes and forensic dissections of colonial scars, but Eric approaches it with the fervor of a storyteller, weaving data into narratives that demand reckoning. Yet, Eric's passions extend far beyond the scholarly. He's a man of the silver screen, a former screenwriter whose scripts once buzzed through the halls of Los Angeles' Gersh agency. In the 90s, he penned tales that danced on the edge of drama and introspection, drawing from a wellspring of personal introspection. The Guardian once chronicled his pivot from law to letters, highlighting how he signed with the agency amid a wave of indie film fervor. Though the screenplays didn't catapult him to Sundance glory, they seeded a legacy in his home, a library stacked with dog-eared tomes on Cassavetes and Kurosawa, late-night viewings of Ghostbusters where he'd recite lines with theatrical flair, turning living room couches into portals to other worlds. Finn recalls these rituals with vivid fondness, curling up as a tyke, the glow of the TV casting shadows like specters, his dad's booming laughter punctuating the chaos. Dad would quote it all the time, Finn shared in a 2021 Enemy interview, his voice laced with nostalgia. That love for the original Ghostbusters, its blend of heart, horror, and hilarity, found full circle when Finn donned the proton pack in Ghostbusters, Afterlife 2021, and its 2024 sequel, a meta-moment that blurred father-son boundaries into cinematic kinship. Mary Jolivet, Eric's steadfast counterpart, brings a softer palette to this canvas of creativity, a palette stroked with the bold strokes of her artistic youth and the tender hues of maternal devotion. Once a practicing artist, her canvases likely brimmed with abstract expressions of Vancouver's moody seascapes or the inner landscapes of emotion, brushes dancing to the rhythm of intuition. But motherhood reshaped her masterpiece, stepping into the role of great stay-at-home mom, as Finn affectionately dubs her. She channeled her aesthetic eye into the domestic symphony. The Wolfhard kitchen became a gallery of impromptu exhibits. Finn's childhood doodles pinned to the fridge like masterpieces, family dinners scored to the vinyl spins of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's or Fleetwood Mac's brooding ballads. Mary introduced Finn to the Fab Four at age 6, slipping Abbey Road into the car's tape deck during rainy drives to school, her voice harmonizing softly as crosswalks blurred by. It was more than music, it was initiation, a rite that awakened Finn's ear to melody's alchemy, planting seeds that bloomed into his bass-thumping tenure with Calpurnia and the indie twang of the Aubreys. Their union, a harmonious counterpoint of intellect and intuition, birthed two sons who would inherit the best of both worlds. Nick, the elder by 5 years, arriving in 1997 like a harbinger of animated whimsy, and Finn in 2002, a bundle of boundless curiosity. Vancouver's nurturing embrace cradled their upbringing, its multicultural mosaic fostering a worldview expansive yet rooted. Finn often muses on the city's indelible imprint. In a 2019 interview magazine chat with Ryan Reynolds, he confessed, There's no way I'd be the same person if I wasn't raised here. The family's home, modest yet alive with artistic detritus, script pages scattered like autumn leaves, sketchpads half filled with charcoal dreams, served as a laboratory for exploration. Dinners dissolved into debates on indigenous histories, sparked by Eric's latest case, or impromptu jam sessions where Mary's hummed choruses met Eric's rhythmic foot taps. This wasn't performative parenting. It was organic, a household where children's whims were weighed as equals to adult wisdom, as Finn told CBC Radio in 2019. I was raised where kids' opinions were just as valued, he reflected, crediting this egalitarian ethos for his grounded navigation of fame's tempests. Nick Wolfhard, the trailblazing sibling, mirrors this legacy in echoes of voice acting prowess. His baritone has lent life to animated realms, starring as Jack Sullivan in Netflix's The Last Kids on Earth, a post-apocalyptic romp where monsters lurk in suburban shadows. The brothers' paths intertwined early. In 2013's short film Aftermath, they shared screen space, fumbling through sibling synergy under indie lights. Now they're poised for New Gen, a sci-fi animation where their voices will clash in cosmic cadence, a familial full circle that underscores the Wolfhard's dynastic thread. Nick's candor about Finn's early hurdles reveals the family's steel-spine support. In a 2019 Showbiz cheat sheet interview, he recalled the fallout, when a scrapped film left young Finn adrift. He was so bummed, didn't want to do acting again, Nick said. My dad and I were like, no, you've got to keep going. Eric's strategic nudge, hiring an agent to professionalize Finn's Craigslist gigs, proved pivotal, transforming hobbyist auditions into Hollywood gateways.